In April 1943, British intelligence made a decision that sounded improbable. They decided to lie to Adolf Hitler. Not with propaganda, not with radio deception, but with a dead man. And it worked. By early 1943, the Second World War had reached a point of calculation. The Allies had driven Axis forces out of North Africa, and attention turned north toward Europe itself. The next target was clear: Sicily, an island that controlled the Mediterranean routes into Italy, close enough to reach, important enough to matter, and so obvious that German commanders were already preparing for it. The invasion, codenamed Operation Husky, was planned for July. But if the Germans reinforced Sicily heavily, the landings could prove disastrous. So British intelligence set out to do something far more difficult than conceal an invasion. They set out to make the enemy expect the wrong one. The deception formed part of a wider campaign known as Operation Barclay, intended to convince German high command that the Allies planned to invade Greece or Sardinia instead. But such a claim required proof, something tangible, something that could be examined, questioned, and believed. The proposal came from two men: Squadron Leader Charles Cholmondeley of MI5 and Lieutenant Commander Ewan Montague of Naval Intelligence. Their idea was simple and deeply unsettling. They would place false invasion plans on a corpse, allow the body to be discovered, and trust that the lie would travel on its own. The first problem was finding a body. On the 28th of January 1943, a suitable candidate was identified: a Welsh vagrant named Glyndŵr Michael, who had died after ingesting rat poison. His death could plausibly be mistaken for drowning. With official approval, his body was placed in cold storage while preparations were made. From that moment on, he would no longer exist as himself. Instead, he became Captain, Acting Major, William Martin, Royal Marines. But a uniform and a rank were not enough. The Germans were thorough. They examined details. They looked for inconsistencies. So British intelligence constructed a life. They filled his pockets with ordinary clutter: bank letters, an overdraft notice, theatre tickets, keys, small signs of habit, of carelessness. They gave him a fiancée, a photograph, love letters written in a familiar, slightly strained tone. The sort of correspondence no intelligence officer would ever bother to overthink. Most importantly, they chained a briefcase to his wrist. Inside were official-looking documents, carefully forged, signed and stamped. They described Allied invasion plans for Greece and Sardinia. Sicily appeared only as a possible diversion. On the 30th of April 1943, the body was transported aboard the submarine HMS Seraph. In the early hours of the morning, it was released into the sea off the coast of Huelva in southern Spain. Spain was officially neutral, but not silent. The body washed ashore. Spanish authorities recovered it. The documents were found, copied, passed on. German intelligence received the papers and judged them genuine. Intercepted communications later showed that Hitler himself accepted the deception. On the 14th of May, German High Command ordered reinforcements to Greece and Sardinia. Experienced units were moved. Sicily was left less protected. On the 9th of July 1943, Operation Husky began. Allied forces landed in Sicily. There was still heavy fighting, but German resistance was thinner and less coordinated than expected. The invasions succeeded faster and at lower cost than planners had feared. Major William Martin was buried in Spain with full military honours. His grave bore a name that had never truly belonged to anyone. For years, the truth remained classified. Only after the war did the full story emerge. Operation Mincemeat did not win the war, but it saved lives. It demonstrated that belief could be engineered, that armies could be moved without a single shot being fired, and that in modern warfare, the most dangerous weapon is sometimes not a bomb or a bullet, but a story, told carefully enough to be trusted. A dead man changed history.